Good day everyone, I am Fam Shidad and together with my group mates Cristabel Casas, Jennifer Dimapitan and Keith Leonard Quilme, we will discussing our synopsis and reflection of the documentary film entitled The Global Cities. So for short description about the film, Global Cities is a documentary film that is produced by the Systems Innovation and published last September 21, 2019. The one who narrates the film is Nancy Boscoslo and the screenwriter is Josh Colchester. Its data sources are from UN Habitat.
So this documentary has 6 parts. First is the rise of urban networks. Second is the historical context. Third is the globalization. Fourth is the territory and governance. Fifth is the changing environment. Then the last part is the economic development. So the first part, which is the rise of urban networks, talks about how the urban networks improve over time from past decades to present. Then the second part, which is the historical context, talks about how our standards of living evolved. For example, hot to skyscrapers. Then the third part is the globalization. It talks about how globalization affects the global cities and what is the contribution that creates the changes that occurred in the country.
To proceed, the fourth part is the territory and governance. According to the documentary, the power of the nation becomes materialized and held by global cities, meaning the nation is now dominantly manipulated by huge people from global cities. Lines between private and public have also become blurry. It is like there is no border between the governance of public and private sectors. So next we have a changing environment. Due to urbanization, a massive demand of resources changed the natural environment. Forests turned to urban cities. Resources are widely consumed by the population. One of some of the doings is the mining of rare earth metals in Africa for the production of smartphones. In addition, the rapid rise of megacities was also mentioned in the video. Accordingly, the first megacity that has been known is New York. However, at this time, the largest city is Tokyo. But the greatest problem that has been brought by the urbanization in the environment is air pollution and global warming. Lastly, we have economic development. The global economy has achieved massive distribution. Because of the globalization, connectivity between different countries in the world has become easier. In result, global economy has been developed rapidly, allowing huge actors in the urban cities to grow. Some countries have developed and been part of the first world countries, while others are still managing to survive, for economic inequality also arises.
The Global Cities is a documentary film about how quickly urbanization is changing. It discusses how cities have evolved and changed in various ways to embrace the growth of globalization. It also discusses how urbanization affects people's culture, economy, and other aspects of society both negatively and positively. This documentary examines the changing environment and growth of urban networks as the new geography of connectivity in an age of globalization.
Now we are going to share the learnings or reflections about the film Global City through quotes. Urbanization, the transformation of human habitat from natural to engineered environment. We can say that these changes can make the world a better place, but as we change a lot in our world, problems and chaos occur at every altar. In this time, power becomes materialized. People are relying more on the power that they have and forget the things and the people who needed support the most of it. Our nature becoming a tool for industrialization. Megacities are becoming more unequal since they have the major role for benefits of the growth income distribution, that they don't realize that outside the global cities, there are people who are working hard to live, but because of the fast changing of urbanization, many people are now having difficulties in sustaining their family for their daily needs. what happens to the people outside the global cities will increasingly affect everyone, and when you say everyone, it means every city. So, in order for us to stop this chaos that will soon bloom, we should be the one to put a change for the better. According to the documentary, inclusive growth is the major challenge that we are far from achieving. So, we should take a step on achieving it by increasing economic integration, better jobs, and higher earnings. And in order to do that, we should start to eradicate poverty and hunger. More resources must be invested in health, education, social security, and decent employment, especially for young people, migrants, and the other vulnerable groups. So, as a conclusion, globalization is the building of global systems of economic, social, and technological organization, and this connectivity across borders reduces or divides and creates interdependencies that bind diverse people and places to share opportunities and threats. Global cities are just doing whatever they think is right, and it is by expanding their power that they hold and use it for their own purposes. We just rebuild the world around us, but urbanization changes us. It creates a new environment, ways of thinking, patterns of work of governance factor, and exchange of interaction between people. According to the documentary, global cities are super connectors, but they can also be super disconnectors. So, the benefits and losses become increasingly shared globally, not just locally, so everyone knows what the problem is. And I hope that we can solve these problems together equally.
So I am Cristobal Casas, and this is my reflection about the film or documentary film Global Cities. So, as globalization evolves, phases of development have also evolved. So, because of the existence of industries that are on global cities, such as finance and specialized services, emergence of multimedia sectors, and telecommunication services, the idea of global city places a strong focus on the network economy. So global cities act as the means of globalization by providing connectivity throughout the countries all over the world. They are also the core of rapid, thrilling, and practical lifestyle. The economic competitiveness of global city reflects on economic strength. Therefore, kung mas daghan nga opportunities ang i-offer sa global cities, so that and then that will make them more competitive and powerful. So another thing that I realized is that the effect that global cities have on neighboring cities inspires people to work hard in order to adapt to the rapid emergence of globalization. But this is not always enough because global cities also expose inequality among citizens and have their own percentage of those living in poverty. So, as for example, so the issue of uh, poverty here in our country. So, Philippines is a developing country, and our government and its bodies collaborating or maintaining relationship with the wealthy and industrialized countries where the global cities are located. So they are persuading them to invest and provide more jobs or more opportunities here in our country to resolve this issue on poverty. So, but as we observe or based on my observation on like uh, what I've seen on TV and what I've seen on my surroundings. So, inequality on social status increases as the nation develops. So, like, gakatabunan na sa development ang issue sa poverty. And then, so, in conclusion, as globalization continues to grow, many changes have occurred and will occur in the near future in various aspects of its society, especially in its economy, as we lay the groundwork for further growth. So global cities are the territory in which a diverse range of globalization processes take concrete, localized forms over the world. So consequently, issues of power and injustice become more prominent, and then the modern large city has emerged as a strategic location for a variety of new types of operations, including the political, economical, and cultural subjective operations. So, it is one of the next stages in the development of new arguments for both the privileged and the poor. So, that would be all. So, thank you.
Hi, it's Jennifer Dimapitan, and mine is even a single drop can flow a huge water tank. Since my comrades already talked about the general idea of the documentary, what I want to talk about right now is the idea that which I felt the most. So, the idea that had moved me from the video, of course, is the situation in Africa today. By the way, according to the documentary, Asia and Africa contribute 90% of the world's growth population of urban dwellers. Also, according to Canus and Heitzig 2020, the pace of urbanization and urban population growth in Africa has changed significantly across continent in general, as well as within its various regions. In addition, they also stated that the urbanization rate in Africa will continue to grow among the fastest of the world regions in the incoming years. In the OECD report, since 1990, Africa's rapid growth in urbanization has been driven primarily by a high population growth and reclassification of rural settlements. However, this fact has been somehow neglected on the documentary. Only those urban dwellers are living for the hope of success, whilst those who are not in the concentration of urban cities were living even poorer than the previous years. In the video, this is called urbanization exclusions. Urban exclusions is the situation in a specific area wherein people are suffering from unemployment, poor skills, low incomes, poor housing, high crime environments, bad health, and family breakdown. Unlike China, Africa has huge inequality in the economic development. Slums has become the new normal of urbanization. There is also an article that I have read online, and it is entitled "The Rise of Poor Megacities in Developing Countries." In the article, a Harvard University professor said that cities are the best path we know out of poverty. They are the best transformers of civilization, but there are also demons that come with density. Even a single drop can flow a huge water tank. If a drop of water can fill and flow a water tank, a single individual can also make a change. If and only if that single drop is different from other water molecules inside the tank, it may change the water right after before it flows down. Each individual contributes to the status of a nation. Africa has not yet in the situation wherein slums cannot be turned to urbanized. There is still hope. The water tank has not yet flowed. I believe in the people of Africa, and I believe in that single drop that will lead and turn Africa to the right path of urbanization. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Keith Leonard Elrikelmi, and this is my reflection. So I have my notes here on the side, so bear with me. Okay, so the word that I chose that would reflect my overall reflection is the word change. Yes, change. Change is short, huh? But this one simple word contains a lot of information related to the full documentary of the global cities. This word represents what my reflection really all about. Why? Because I have found out that in every part of the global cities, it experienced change, in and out, front to back, present to future. If someone wants to improve, then change is what you need. Global cities would have not been called global cities without change. Now the question is, how does it start? In Rise of Urbanization, it talks about how urban networks improve over time. The change that occurred in this part is the constantly increasing of population. And due to this rising of population in a community, it creates new factors such as opportunities, ideas, creativities, and challenges. Because of addition of 1 million people every week here in our world, it demands new technologies and strategies to maintain the status and stability of the country. In the historical context part of the documentary, it discusses about how our standards of living evolved. The change happened here is how our societies changed from first engineered environments composed of a few discrete hand tools and small shelters to complex urban networks, which contains huge and high buildings, abstract roads, and high technologies. In globalization, the change happened because of the major new technological and economic processes that result to national economies and infrastructures connected into global network exchange. In territory and governance, the changes are the cities are getting bigger and bigger from time to time. New cities are known and reconfiguration of territory and basic organizational principles from cultural and territorial borders to functional connectivity. Changing environment happened also because of the improvement of our urban network and massive globalization. It only occupied 3% of our planet, Earth, but its impact is so high since it resulted to very complex transformation of our environment. For example, the landscape of Malaysia transformed into a palm plantation for biofuels. Cement and iron are pulled out of the ground in Russia for migrants every year. Water systems in the Himalayas are altered to provide for the urban centers of northern India. And rare metals extracted from Africa for the millions of smartphones that keep Paris connected. It does help our needs, but how about our environment? Economics are becoming more and more productive and creative because of skilled workers and high technologies and networks. This results to rise of massive urban centers, but unfortunately, countries who have very low GDP or gross domestic product, which are the least well equipped economically and socially, hard to gain the transformation and still experience the problems happened in the past decades. So yeah, that's it. A lot of changes happened in each part, right? But all of them are just connected. One can't exist without the others. If the population here in the world is constantly changing, then so is the world we are living right now. We are improving day by day, and our standard of living is also increasing. I can see that these changes really help us having a better lifestyle and create diverse society. But I kind of feel sad for the low countries, or what we call the developing countries, since they did not transform that much, unlike the northern countries, which are economically developed. I wonder if the countries who are stable are helping the low countries to become stable too. But I forgot that there's a competition exists between the countries, unconsciously and indirectly. I would have been appreciating the changes occurred in the world if all of the countries were in the same line. But I understand the negative issues like the presence of inequality and competition. Life is boring without negatives, but I'm sure everything will be okay soon. Change is a choice, and all of us people choose to have it, whether it is to have better life for the family or for yourself or for the betterment of the country. But is it gonna be a good or bad change? A lot of people will do everything just to get what they want. So it is our choice which side are we going in. But playing fair and equally is more fun and feels great, and you learn a lot than cheating and taking shortcuts. So I suggest to have good changes and let's help each other to improve the world. Yay. And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for listening in our reflection about the Global Cities full documentary. I hope you learned something and enjoy our presentation. Thank you so much again and have a good day. Bye.